Hello from the Music Interview Corner. I am here with Jonas from Fixation. Hi Jonas, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking time for this interview.
Of course.
I would like to talk about the start of your band, because your band is kind of still a young band, but you had a pretty crazy career with your first EP, Global Suicide, in 2020, and the single Stay Awake in 2021. You managed right away to get the attention of big media like Metal Hammer and Kerrang and BBC. How did that feel?
So amazing, to be honest. Didn't really expect it to be that good of those good reviews and that perception from people. It's been really, really amazing for us. We have been doing this for a long time, but we didn't really start until 2020 when we released the EP, Global Suicide. Yeah, just attention that EP got was really great. So amazing for us.
Cool. And you just said your band was started much earlier?
Yeah.
Like when was it? When were you officially starting to be a band?
We really started when we were 15.
Oh, really?
Yes. We started in 2011. Mm-hmm. And we started under the name Fading Colors. But we found out another band is called Fading Colors, so we had to adapt and try to figure out a new band name.
How did you get from Fading Colors to Fixation? Or is it when you're fixated you see no, that's affixation. I just thought if you're choking you will see fading colors or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, but what was the real story?
So the real story is I was and still sort of am a big fan of Muse. Mm-hmm. And I saw an interview they did about how they got their name Muse. And what they did is they wanted to be one word, mm-hmm. so that the name would look huge on posters.
It does actually.
Yeah. And so we were like, yeah, I want to do that. So I tried to find the perfect word. I went through a lot of song lyrics and stuff. And ironically, what I ended up on was a song by Muse. The song Time Is Running Out. They sing Fixation. I was like, that's a good name. And I tried to Google it if any other bands were called Fixation. At the time, it was not. Mm-hmm. There is another band, though, called Fixation. Right?
But you had it first, right?
We had it first.
Good. Guys, you heard it here first that they had it first. Good.
So we thought, okay, that's a good word. And I thought it kind of went full circle when a couple of years ago, I got diagnosed with OCD. Oh. And we wrote a song about it called Claustrophobic, so it's all out there. Mm-hmm. But, having OCD is sort of all about being fixated on stuff.
Yes.
So I felt like that was a full circle moment for me to have this bad name when I was 16 or something, and then finding out about that, ending up on that spot.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Would you like to share more about OCD, or is it too personal? Because I think I have mild OCD. I always have to check 3 times if I turn the stove off. That's my little OCD thing.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's I'm pretty open about this stuff. So a couple of years ago, I went to a psychiatrist to try to figure out what's wrong with me. You know what I mean? And that's when I found out I had OCD. And I kind of figured I had something like that. And OCD is basically being hyperfixated on certain stuff to the degree where it affects your life, has a negative impact on your life. And I got treatment for it, which was really nice. It really helped a lot. For me, it was a really good system supporting me in that direction in Norway. And I think I got exactly what I needed to not necessarily get rid of it, because it's still a part of me, but get new tools to understand how to deal with it, and to not suppress it, but have a control over it. You know what I mean? So, and we wrote the song Claustrophobic, and there's another song on our album called Bleed, which we haven't released yet, which both of these songs are sort of about that journey for me.
Wonderful. I think it's really great that you share that, because I think it will probably encourage a lot of fans and viewers who might suffer from OCD too.
I hope so. For me, music has always been a way to express my feelings, a way for me to understand my own psyche and my worldviews. And music has always inspired me to go on and to learn more about myself. So if our music has some sort of spot for in some people in that way, that means the world to me.
Wonderful. I bet it has. You can comment here underneath the video if you want to share something, guys. Yeah. And you just mentioned your brand new album. It's like your debut album.
Yes.
And it's going to be called More Subtle Than This. And it's going to come out on September 8th, right? How was the recording process?
It's been long, to be honest. We started like officially working on the songs for this album in 2020.
Oh.
So it's been a really long time because we've been kind of slow. And we had some ideas, even like the last song on the album, Dystopia, also a unreleased song as of yet, is an idea I think I wrote in 2018.
Wow.
So it's been like a journey. You know, it's our debut album. We collect a lot of the ideas we've had over the last like many years that we've done this band, and sort of culminated it to this final product. But the recording process, it's been fun as well. It's not only been slow, but it's taken some time, and I think we learned a lot from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we learned how to work on the next stuff we're doing. But it's been a really fun journey, and I'm so looking forward to people experiencing this album.
Mm-hmm.
We've been sitting on it for a long time, and I've been listening to it so much that I'm so tired of it. I hope you're not. Not right away, at least.
I'm sure not.
Maybe at some point. But I'm really looking forward to people hearing it. I think we're really happy with it. We're really proud of ourselves for creating this music, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say about it. So.
Cool. Yeah, in about like 2 weeks you will have that, and you will have the album.
It's crazy. 2 weeks. Yeah. When you say it like that, because it's been. I mentioned this earlier, and I didn't really think about it until yesterday. I was sitting on a plane on my way here, and I was like, it's kind of a big deal. It's our debut album.
Yeah.
We've been working so long for this. I've been dreaming about doing this sort of stuff since I was like 8 years old.
Wow.
So it's more special than it's out now. You know what I mean? It's our debut album. So yeah, it's crazy. In 2 weeks it's out. It's always been like it's coming in some distant future, but now we're here. It's very fun.
Cool. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Do you feel there's more pressure, kind of, because you got already so much media attention before?
Yeah. To be honest, yeah. But we got yesterday. We got the first review in.
Oh.
It's not published, but we got like a taste of it, and it was really good.
Cool.
We got a 9 out of 10, which I'm so stoked about. People have different interpretations of music, but the fact that we got that on our first review was really inspiring to me, and yeah, it gives me hope. I mean, I'm really proud of it, and we got a lot of good feedback on the singles from the album. So I think yeah, I'm very optimistic about it. So.
Great. You just mentioned the singles from your new album, and I would like to talk about Ignore the Disarray.
Yeah.
That came out earlier this year, and it was selected as Tune of the Week at the BBC Radio 1 Rock Show. How did that feel?
Oh, that was amazing. Since last year, we've gotten to know Daniel P. Carter, who is the host at Radio 1, or BBC Radio 1, The Rock Show. He's such a nice guy, such a sweet person, and the fact that he is so interested in our band is kind of crazy to us, because I've always like known who he is, because he's like this figure in rock and metal music in the UK, and BBC, you know, it's a huge
Yes.
radio channel. So the fact that our music, all our singles have been played on that show, is kind of insane to me. That's when that our first Stay Awake, I think that was the first song that was played there, was played on BBC. That's when like people in my family like, oh shit, it's BBC, that's pretty huge.
It's a big accomplishment,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I'm very proud of it, and but also it's a big big thanks to Dan, because he's such a great guy, and it's been very nice to get to know him. The fact that he made Ignore This Raid like Tune of the Week, that was really special for us.
Yeah, that's amazing. And was Dan also the radio host who called the band Bring Me the Horizon to tell them about you? I read a story that a radio host did that.
No, so the thing is, he didn't call them, but they played our song Claustrophobic on BBC, and this is what I heard at least. So the keyboard player and producer and songwriter in Bring the Horizon, Jordan Fish, sent a text message to Dan, who's the host for BBC, after he heard the song and asked, which band is this? Which, for us, like, Bring Me the Horizon is one of our biggest inspirations. The fact I was like when I got that message, I got like an Instagram DM from Daniel P. Carter, like, Jordan Fish from Bring the Horizon texted me about you guys. I was like lying in my bed naked, like about to go to sleep. I was like, oh my god. Wow. This is crazy. And I share an apartment with our bassist, Martin. So like, okay, I gotta get my clothes on. I gotta go knock on his door and like, Jordan Fish from Bring Me the Horizon like asked about us. So it was a huge moment for us. Just knowing that one of your like idols recognized your music, it's crazy. I don't want to be too much of a fanboy here, but
no, but it's something that you accomplished with your music, and it's great to share that.
It's cool. It's really cool. So
I think that might also inspire other young bands, like what you accomplished, like just by doing your thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're just a band from Norway, which is a pretty small country, and we've only been just playing the music we love to play and make. I mean, like I said, we've been doing this since we were like 15 years old, so there's been times where we thought we never... There were like 2 years where we didn't really do much, but then we were like, we never gave up on it. So I think the main take I've gotten from being in a band is like, just don't quit. Just keep doing it and work hard for it, because at some point, you know, it'll happen.
Yeah, it's great advice for all young bands out there. You also just released another single from your album and a really cool music video. It's called Flat Earth. Can you tell us more about that, about the single and about the video? Because in the video, all your band members and you're wearing white hazmat suits, and there's stuff projected onto the suits.
Oh, I have a really fun story about the video, actually. But I can. So the single is about people really being so invested in conspiracy theories to the point where nothing you say can change their mind. Even if you show them the physical evidence, it'll never. And I mean, I'm pretty like, I think conspiracy theories are very interesting.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I try to be like really aware when reading it. If something doesn't really make sense to me, I will not be like, this is the way it is. But some people are, and so that was like, the song is about those people. But the video, I have to tell you a story about it, because and I don't think we have told this in any press before. So we shot the video at this location in Oslo somewhere. We were told from our director of the music video, who's a really good friend of ours, it's like, yeah, it's really remote. There's no houses around. There's a forest around it. So don't worry, because we were filming it at night, and we have drums, so it's gonna make a lot of noise, you know. So we're like, we don't want to disturb anyone. It's a Wednesday or something like that. It's like midnight. And we get there and like the first thing you see is like a house right there. Oh no. And we're like, we have to do this thing. So we tried to like dampen the sound of the drums as much as we could. I was like, Ola, if you can like try to not hit the drums, but just pretend you're hitting the drums, except you have to hit the cymbals because you can see that they're moving. So we try to tape it so it doesn't make as much noise. And we got like 2 takes. And then a guy came up to us and like, what the f*** are you doing? He was so angry. And we got like what we call grown up. What's it called in English? Grown up. We got yelled at by grown up, basically. And we're grown up as well. So it felt kind of shitty.
I'm so sorry. And it was not even your fault.
It was our fault.
Yeah, but you didn't know that this grown-up had his house there.
We didn't pick the location, and our director, he was really sad about it. But it's a fun story. We got really yelled at. The music video, it's only basically 2 takes, and we did some additional takes in our director's apartment, the ones with just me. We wore the hazmat suits as sort of like a call to like people or being afraid of the end of days or something like that. And we actually wore them on stage for the first time ever at Q-Stock Festival in Oulu here in Finland. And I think it was such a good idea before because it would look cool, but it was so sweaty. It was so warm because your whole body was, and we had like normal clothes underneath.
Like a sauna suit.
Exactly. Because we were going to take them off after playing Flat Earth, and we were so warm. I was like, we have like 6 more songs. But it was fun. It looked really cool in the photos, and people commented on it. So I think it was a good choice, even though it was really warm.
Cool. I'm glad you did that, and I'm glad you could finish the music video despite this guy yelling at you.
Yeah, it was. We worked with what we had at the end, so it was.
It
fun.
looks great.
Thank you.
Oh, and you were also on tour with big artists like Leprous and Devin Townsend. And can I ask you, this is my favorite question, what is the craziest thing you and your bandmates have ever done on tour?
Oof.
The funniest thing.
Funniest thing. So on tour with Leprous, it wasn't really because we did just a couple of shows in Norway. It was like flying gigs, so it wasn't that crazy. But with Devin, we were a support number 1, and then we had Clone, which was that direct support band. So we shared a bus with them, and they're a French band. So we played in Paris at this really like famous venue called l'Olympia. And for them, being a French band, it was a really huge, special thing. It was for us as well, but for them, like being French, this was a really big thing. And after the show, we were like celebrating because we had a day off. We were going to travel to the UK, so you got really drunk, like insanely drunk. And then we went on a bus to go drive to the UK, and I think we got like maybe 2 hours of sleep before we were woken up by our bus driver Miguel, who's such a legend. This 60-year-old Portuguese man who's like the sweetest guy, and he was like jangling his keys like, "Wake up," because we had to go to the border of between France and the UK.
And show your passports and everything.
Yeah, and we're like so hungover. Everyone, except our bassist in Fixation, he was still drunk. So he was like really happy. He forgot his passport going in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so we went back to the bus after being at the passport, like the border, and I fell asleep again. Maybe like 30 minutes later, we were woken up again. Like, you have to get off the bus because we're on the ferry and you can't sleep in the bus while we were on the ferry.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh my God, my head hurts so much. I'm so tired. And so we got on the ferry. We were like all standing there like really, really tired. Everyone was so hungover, except our bassist, who was like really happy and cheery.
Who's also your roommate, right?
Exactly. Help. And we got like this English breakfast, but it was made by French people. And French people make a lot of good food, but the English breakfast on that ferry, it was horrible, to be honest. It was cold, and it was like, yeah. So we're like sitting there eating this horrible food, and everyone like fell asleep in like this really public area on the ferry, like these couches that were just sitting there. And then Miguel, our bus driver, came again with the keys when we had to go back on the bus, and we're like, oh my God. So that's, I mean, we didn't really do anything like crazy, but that was one of the most painful experiences, I think, on the tour. There was a point before we got on the tour bus, when we actually played here in Finland, we played in Oulu, and after Oulu, we had booked a hotel in Ylivieska, which is like 1.5 hours away or something. So we drove after the show down there. It was in February, so it's really cold.
Oh yeah.
Like really cold.
Minus 30 or something, or minus 25 at least.
Yeah, minus 25 around the area. So cold. And we had the van before the tour bus, and the van wasn't really warm at all. So we're like sitting in the car, and we got to this Airbnb, and there was supposed to be like a key thing on the wall, but we couldn't find it because it was so dark, and the box was black. So like we couldn't find it. We were standing outside for like 30 minutes before we found it. And I think our drummer Ola almost got hypothermia because he was shivering so much. He was hating his life.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Did the Airbnb have a sauna that you could use?
No, it was like just an apartment.
Oh, okay.
But it was really nice. We slept really well. Ylivieska was a really nice place. Very cozy little place. And it's a fun story now.
Something that you don't forget.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there anything you would like to say to your fans?
Yeah, so we're releasing our debut album, More Subtle Than Death, September 8th, which is pretty amazing. It's finally out. Get it now. I've always dreamt about having like my own music on CDs and vinyls and stuff. And we got sent the vinyls a couple of weeks ago. So we have this limited edition pink ones where the vinyl itself is pink, and the other ones are clear, so it's see-through. And like seeing it in real life, holding it in your hands, and then listening to it while you hold like the physical version of your album, that was kind of crazy. So for me, I've always been collecting like CDs and vinyl and stuff. Having my own stuff on that, that's crazy. So if you want to get one, they're out there.
Oh, no. Yes.
And we're going on tour again in October.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we're going with this German band called Anis OK, which is a metalcore band. Really looking forward to it. On the last tour, we were kind of like diving in like really blindly into this whole new world that we have never experienced before. So this time I think we're a bit more prepared. My main takeaway from the tour is bring more socks and underwear.
Especially the really warm ones.
Yeah, because I mean, you wear underwear, you change it every day, and then also you're playing on stage and getting really sweaty. And I don't usually play on stage in like commando.
Right, this is also advice for young bands. Listen, guys.
So yeah, more underwear and socks. That's what I'll bring on this tour.
Great, then.
Inside information, yeah. Maybe
yeah, guys,
too much information.
Yeah. No, important information.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for the interview, Jonas.
Thank you so much. It was really nice.
Thank you, likewise. And goodbye from the Music Interview Corner.